What's up guys, James here from BootWizard Boot Reviews, and we are back today with the third and final part of my perfect boots collaboration with the guys over at boothype.com. Today I'm going to be breaking down what I think makes up the perfect control boot, and as I say, head over to BootHype and you can see what they think as well. Let's say we don't agree on everything. So the control boot. What is it? The control boot is the one designed for that midfield playmaker. It's going to be a player that's going to receive the ball, spray the passes around the pitch. Your Andrea Pirlo's, your Paul Scholeses, the people who dictate and control the pace, the play and the style of the game. Now, while wearing a control boot is absolutely not going to turn you into Andreas Iniesta, it certainly will give you a certain set of characteristics that are very appealing to a certain group of people, myself included. This is usually a plush, classy touch on the ball, really good rotational, flexible movement, and overall a feeling that this boot is with you, you're connected, and you really can pick any pass you want at any given moment. Remember to like the video, get subscribed, and if you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/bootwizard. But let's break down what elements of all the world's control boots I would choose to make the perfect one. We're going to start with the upper for two reasons. The first being that clearly it's very important and we're looking for that kind of plush, maybe slightly dampened or classy sensation out of our upper. And at the same time, the other reason we're starting with the upper is because it means I get to start with one of my favorite boots of all time, the Nike CTR 360 Maestri 3. This is the third generation of the CTR 360 line. It's my personal favorite and it features a beautiful Kanga-Lite upper. So Kanga-Lite was designed to mimic kangaroo leather in synthetic form, so you don't get any of the downsides, or at least fewer of them, such as water retention or overstretching. This is one of my favorite materials when used like this, because it does get altered quite a lot by Nike, but this material in this iteration with this beautiful, classy, slightly padded feel while still making you feel connected to the ball is amazing. In case you haven't guessed, I really like this boot, and this upper I think is fantastic. So it's the Kanga-Lite upper from the CTR 360 Maestri 3 for my perfect control boot. Next up, something else that's critical to any control boot, and that is the control element. And that can be anything from a slightly grippy, textured upper to a full-scale pass pad, maybe even something as extreme as the demon skin on the brand new Predator line, which is still, according to Adidas at least, a control boot. We can discuss whether it's a power boot another time. The choice that I've made here you may find a little out of left field because it comes off an Umbro boot. I've gone for the D3O technology from the UX Acuro 3. So this is the newest version of the Acuro from Umbro, and it features a cage on the toe box and a pass pad on the instep that feature D3O. Now I do a full breakdown of D3O technology and how this works in my full review, which you can see by clicking up in the corner. But in short, it's a non-Newtonian fluid that dissipates energy when the ball or anything makes contact with it. As the ball hits the boot hard, the energy is dissipated, allowing you for better close control. And whether it's in my head or not, kind of feel like it works. So that's what I've gone for. Umbro UX Acuro 3 D3O technology pass pad and cage. Next up, the fit and comfort element. And this is important in a control boot because you're expecting the boot to be fairly nimble, but at the same time, it's supposed to have that classy, elegant feel, so it has to be a comfortable boot that still leaves you feeling connected to the ball. Now, I've cheated a little bit here because I've picked two boots for entirely selfish reasons, because I can't physically leave either of them out of a perfect control boot when I'm building it, because they both have fantastic elements, but I also can't seem to find a way to slot them in anywhere else. So I've gone for the Nike Phantom Vision, the 1 or the 2. The fit is fundamentally the same, and that's because of the quad fit mesh. That's the reason I'm including it. The way that that quad fit mesh wraps around your foot and gives you lockdown is just incredible. And I feel like it gets overlooked. The Vision seems to get a lot of hate, and nobody's really focusing on how good this quad fit mesh actually is. So I would 100% have that on my boot. The second boot I've chosen is the Under Armour Clutch Fit Force 3. So this is one of my personal favorite boots. Horribly underrated. And this is a Trevella microfiber synthetic with Under Armour's clutch fit technology over the top, and the way that this wraps around your foot and provides you with a really personal feel is very different to anything else that you got at the time, and probably even now, and it did this all without a one-piece upper. The Clutch Fit Force 3 is a fantastic control boot, and this is the area that I would include it. I couldn't leave quad fit mesh out, so they're both in there. So my fit and comfort is I'm having clutch fit and quad fit because reasons, and it's my boot, and I'll do what I like. Cheers. Traction, sole plate, and stud pattern. So while the CTR was pretty much Nike's flagship control boot, the Tiempo also fits right into a lot of those control boot categories, a lot of the things that we're looking for. And that's where I'm going for this pick. I'm going for the sole plate and stud pattern off the Nike Tiempo Legend 4. This provides a sole plate with enough support and rigidity while also giving you enough flexibility for freedom of movement in the middle of the park. Some really good conical studs through the forefoot of the boot, somewhat reminiscent of what you got on some of the earlier T90 models, but with a low enough profile to get really good traction in the turf. And then those more bladed style studs through the heel do a great job of keeping you that little bit more aggressive. So overall, I think this is a fantastic sole plate and stud pattern combination and one of Nike's best ever, and I would be very pleased to have that on my perfect control boot. Before we get to the very last category, I do have to throw in a couple of honourable mentions, otherwise I would never be able to live with myself. The control style boot, the control boot category of boots have historically been some of my personal favourites, and it would be remiss of me to leave it without mentioning things like the Magista Obra, the Magista Opus 1 and the Magista Opus 2.5, not the one in the middle that looked a bit like it had acne, the one that came after it that looked a lot more like the Obra 2. These are some of my favourite boots of all time. They fall into the control boot category, but I have a limited number of spots for a limited number of things, and they just didn't quite make it. The final category is X Factor. Now, this can be anything. This can be anything that you want it to be that's going to make your boot stand out and be special. How this is going to rise above all the other boots on the market. It could be something else you want to add, or it could be an overall look, feel, and vibe, which is what I've gone for. Now, I mentioned previously that technically the Tiempo is not marketed as a control boot, but it certainly fits that category, and that's the direction I'm going here, especially because this particular Tiempo was worn by one of the greatest of all time, one of the best to ever do it, to pick out a pass, to read the game, a very, very classy player, one of my favourites, and it's Francesco Totti. And I have gone for the Totti Roma X Tiempo, or Nike X Roma X Tiempo, too many X's. I've gone for those gold boots with the big fold over tongue, because it's a fold over tongue, and why would you not want that? They're gold, which just screams premium, classy, which is what I want from my control boot, and they were linked to and adorned the feet of Francesco Totti. What's not to love? That is my control boot. Have I left something out that is glaringly obvious and you would put in? Please use these categories, use more, put them down in the comments. What would your perfect control boot look like? Do we agree? And more likely, do we not? But that's everything from me here today. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Head over to boothype.com and check out their article. Remember to like this video, get subscribed if you haven't done already. I post 3 times a week. And if you want to support the channel, patreon.com/bootwizard is the place to go. Thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed it,